That one financial mistake can quietly cost an American household $100,000. At 30, he earns a solid income, yet his bank account feels strangely empty. Every month, his paycheck arrives, then disappears through familiar automatic payments. He watches rent, groceries, insurance, subscriptions, and car costs drain thousands. The shocking part is not spending money. It is what those dollars never become. He checks his banking app and freezes after seeing another frustratingly small balance. His face shows disbelief as he compares today's income against last year's income. On screen, rising income sits beside stagnant savings, creating an uncomfortable contrast. The hidden mistake is slowly becoming visible, but the biggest cost remains undiscovered. He realizes every expensive decision also carries an opportunity cost for his future. One wrong financial habit can compound for years before anyone notices it. And that is exactly how $100,000 can disappear unnoticed. His situation feels ordinary because millions of Americans recognize these monthly money pressures. His paycheck looks healthy until every recurring obligation quietly takes its share. Groceries cost more, gasoline adds pressure, and convenience purchases become harder to notice. Even routine expenses can become dangerous. When they multiply across an entire year, then he discovers several small subscriptions quietly charging him every single month. His credit card statement reveals another problem hiding behind apparently manageable purchases. He compares necessities with lifestyle spending and notices an uncomfortable pattern. The calendar shows commitments repeating regardless of whether he actually needs them. His income feels frustratingly small because so much money already has destinations. One paycheck enters, then countless spending channels immediately begin pulling money away. For the first time, he stops reacting and starts studying his financial behavior. Then one annual number appears, revealing where the real damage begins. Numbers make the problem clearer, because feelings alone cannot explain missing wealth. He calculates where every monthly dollar actually goes before judging his situation. His income increased, but savings barely moved over several expensive years. The banking app shows recurring charges quietly controlling more cash than expected. A modest monthly expense becomes surprisingly large after multiplying across an entire year. Then he compares spending today with what consistent investing might create later. Suddenly, two financial paths appear: consumption now or potential wealth later. The difference can become enormous, depending on spending, returns, time, and consistency. He finally sees why earning more alone never guarantees becoming wealthier. Several lifestyle categories suddenly look less harmless when viewed through annual totals. One question now matters more than the size of his paycheck. What exactly is this spending costing his future financial freedom? The hidden reason is often lifestyle inflation disguised as normal financial progress. Every raise can quietly create permission to upgrade another part of life. Social pressure makes unnecessary spending feel normal, justified, and even responsible. Monthly payment language can hide the enormous total cost behind attractive purchases. More expensive lifestyles often arrive gradually, making each upgrade feel harmless. Notifications, convenience, and promotions constantly encourage spending without careful reflection. He begins removing triggers that make unnecessary purchases easier to justify. Then he compares every upgrade against what that money could potentially accomplish. Small decisions become powerful when repeated across months and years. He finally identifies the hidden enemy: lifestyle creep plus opportunity cost. Instead of buying another upgrade, he redirects that money toward future options. The real choice is not stuff versus nothing. It is options versus obligations. The consequences appear when an unexpected expense exposes how fragile the system really is. One repair bill suddenly becomes a serious financial problem. Without enough cash reserves, he starts calculating painful alternatives. Credit becomes tempting because immediate relief feels easier than delayed discipline. Debt can rise while savings remain frustratingly stuck in place. Stress grows because every new bill threatens an already narrow margin. Meanwhile, years of missed investing opportunities quietly continue accumulating behind the scenes. Repeated spending becomes dangerous because each expense can create another future burden. Emergency savings goal now looks uncomfortably far away. Finally, he stops panicking and makes one deliberate decision. He opens a notebook and writes 3 words that change everything. Keep what matters, cut what does not, and redirect the difference. The turning point begins when he stops relying on willpower alone. He cuts recurring expenses that provide little value relative to their cost. Then he automates savings before the money reaches his spending account. He also separates emergency cash from long-term investing goals. His new budget puts future priorities ahead of impulse purchases. Before buying anything, he now pauses and checks his planned spending limit. The biggest improvement comes from building a system instead of chasing motivation. Consistent contributions can grow meaningfully when given enough time and discipline. For the first time, his savings progress becomes predictable rather than accidental. 3 habits now drive his money: automate, control, and invest consistently. The financial pressure feels lighter because his system finally has direction. And now, he can finally focus on what those changes produce. The practical solution begins with tracking every recurring expense, not guessing. He categorizes transactions so spending patterns become impossible to ignore. Next, he removes low-value costs that repeatedly consume money without helping him. Savings become automatic by moving a predetermined amount immediately after payday. He builds emergency cash separately, so surprises no longer force expensive borrowing. Long-term investing receives another planned contribution designed for patience, not excitement. Comparing old and new budgets makes the improvement surprisingly obvious. Even grocery shopping becomes easier when a spending limit exists beforehand. He pauses before purchases and checks whether they support his priorities. Passing on upgrades becomes easier when progress is already visible. The important change is not perfection. It is consistent financial behavior. Repeated actions now become the engine driving his long-term transformation. Months later, his financial dashboard finally looks different from where he started. The contrast becomes obvious when stress is replaced by organized progress. His emergency fund is growing, giving unexpected expenses less power over him. The credit card balance is smaller while cash reserves become stronger. Daily choices now feel easier because his spending rules were decided earlier. Even expensive upgrades become less tempting when financial progress remains visible. His long-term investing receives steady contributions without demanding constant attention. The before and after comparison reveals something powerful. Systems create measurable change. An unexpected expense appears, but this time he does not panic. He can handle normal financial surprises without immediately reaching for debt. Relief replaces anxiety because his money finally supports his priorities. Now, the question becomes how far this disciplined system can eventually take him. The final lesson is simple. Wealth depends on what your money becomes. The real choice is not spending everything or enjoying nothing. Today, it is deciding whether today's dollars create tomorrow's options. Higher income matters, but controlled spending and time matter too. Financial security begins when your money serves your priorities consistently. His life improves because his system supports decisions instead of resisting them. He now values savings, security, flexibility, and freedom more than constant upgrades. Those choices create possibilities that expensive purchases cannot provide. The $100,000 lesson is really about opportunity cost. Automate saving, invest consistently, and resist lifestyle inflation when income rises. Your future can change dramatically when small financial decisions become consistent habits. Build options today, because financial freedom is created one decision at a time. Don't let another financial mistake cost you your future. Subscribe to WealthMind USA, and let's build your financial freedom together.